Brothers of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me the songs of Mother Goddess and of Father in the tree.
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into the spaces between. How is your equinox treating you, y'all? I hope it's been just a fantabulous day. Hard to believe it's that time of year already. Holy cow. Yeah, craziness. Crazy the way the year is just screaming by so slowly. So, we are being broadcast live, of course, on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, and also on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And no matter how you are listening, make sure you stop into one of the chat rooms and say hello. Or drop me an email at wildpaisley@gmail.com. And that's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, that's fantastic. You can do so by going to Etsy. That's etsy.com/shop/Monarch Mountain Studio, MTN for mountain. Or you can go to patreon.com/TheSpacesBetween. Or if you want to just support my radio habit, well, that is $ The Spaces Between. It's a cash tag. Check it out. I like the cash tags. Actually, they're pretty cool. And they come with a personalized debit card. Mine's glow in the dark. Because why not? I mean, really, why not? Let's see. On the breaks or when you have a downtime moment, go to ialife.com. ialife is the official sponsor for Truth Frequency Radio. ialife combines the best of the ayahuasca without the rush and high quality CBD to cure what ails you. And the call lines are open tonight. That number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it is 44203-393-2371. That is 2371. So hello, my family. I hope you guys are just having a fantastic day. Really, truly. And for those of you who are not on YouTube, I have a really big coffee cup tonight. Just want to know if you guys think I need a bigger one. It's a big cup. Friday nights and Saturday nights are sometimes kind of a little rough, I have to say, though. Because trying to do all the things in 2 days. And occasionally I run out of oomph. But, you know, that's part of being a grown-up and supporting the wisdom highlights here. I'm not, not as young as I used to be. I can remember back in the day, I could function on 3 hours of sleep and be absolutely fine. Nowadays, if it is 3 hours, that's a nap. That's not sleeping all night. Although sleeping all night is like 6 to 10 hours, depending on what's going on. So, yeah. Oof. It's just, yeah. So, because I'm older, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm trying, though. All right. Looking in the chat rooms. Hey, everyone. If I haven't said hello via typing, just it's a general kind of hi. How are you? And tonight, I got to thinking, since it is spring, actually it's the spring equinox, the vernal equinox, we should talk about the equinox because, yeah, it's the equinox. Ooh, definition of equinox. Let's define equinox. Can't spell. So the true definition is when the sun crosses the celestial equator when day and night are of approximate equal length, on or about September 22nd and March 20th. So those of you in the southern hemisphere, it's the fall equinox or autumnal equinox, and here in the northern hemisphere, it's the vernal equinox or spring equinox. In theory, it means it's supposed to be warming up soon. I've checked the forecast, and at least here in my neck of the woods, it's not really gonna be warm for any, for a while. Yeah. 10 days is, mid 40s. Actually, that's not too bad, and that's Fahrenheit. But there's still potential of snow in the air. In the Midwest, where I'm from originally, the plan is to have potatoes planted by Good Friday so that they grow well. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't plant potatoes by Good Friday because, it's not done freezing yet. It's just wait patiently, folks. I do want a jalapeno, though. It's too bad Pharmacy Seeds is not in the chat room this evening because he knows all about farming and such. Actually, so does Justin. Justin knows something about farming in a contained environment. I want a jalapeno. So a jalapeno is basically it's a pit dug in the ground with rafters on top. And you put glass or plastic or something on the rafters to let the snow slide off. And it's just a good time. So the inside stays a pretty stable temperature, and when I first started looking into it, really awesome video I saw that was from a gentleman in Denver area. He lives above Denver, so he's higher than a mile, and hey, lucky, and a mile above speed limit. Try that again. A mile above sea level, and using his jalapeno, he's able to grow citrus. So like oranges and limes and lemons, and I think he had a banana tree. And it was fantastic. Purple potatoes. I love those, along with purple carrots. Nom, 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 nom. So yeah, jalapenos. Really, 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 really want one. Not sure if I'm going to do one here, because we rent, and the best places to put one are either below the water level, which I'm not going to fight with, or I have a brand new septic line through it. So yeah, interesting world I live in. Yep. Hey, the septic still works. It's only been 6 months, right? Yay! So spring equinox. We're going to talk about just a variety of different ways that people celebrate the equinox around the world, and not just for us pagans, but other folks too. And yeah, it's good. Hey, Deb. Yeah, and I'm assuming that at some point Titan will ask a question, because Titan does that. So, and then who knows? Maybe Mr. Longbeard will show up and be able to be on the show too. I hear he's been off talking Bigfoot a lot lately. So, equinox, equal night. It's originally a Latin word, and for those of you who know or don't know, equinox is just, there's about 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of dark. And it seems like the dark just lasts longer, but nope. Seriously, it's half and half. So in the northern hemisphere, the day, it's again vernal equinox, and I know that in the southern hemisphere, things are starting to chill out, and winter is fast approaching. It's crazy. So Wow. This was supposed to be, sorry, got sidetracked. So, according to this particular page, which is World Religion News, and the link will be in the show notes, of course, it talks about the Bible right away. So, according to the Bible, Yeshua of Nazareth was born in the fall of the year, which is, if you stop and think about it, yes. So it's been suggested early Christians set Christmas at the appropriate time of the winter solstice to match existing pagan celebrations. So this would place Jesus' conception 9 months earlier, coinciding with the time of the spring equinox. So it's an approximate thing. And so it's also been referred, so let's see. It's also the victory of a god of light over the powers of darkness. There's quite a few different gods of light that it is not just Yeshua or Yahweh. It's a couple different. Or there's also the descent of God into the underworld for 3 days, also known as the harrowing of hell. So pagan religions in the ancient Mediterranean region has a major seasonal date to mark the spring equinox. So Cybele believed that Attis, the Phrygian fertility goddess's partner, had been born via a virgin birth. So it's not just Christianity that talks about virgin births. Attis is said to have died and has been resurrected each year during the period between March 22nd and March 25th, which is the time of the vernal equinox. And the Christians' worship of Jesus' death and resurrection and pagan worship of Attis were both commemorated in ancient times. So that until one religion took precedence, and that's the Christianity, there for a long time, both the pagan holiday and the Christian holiday were celebrated simultaneously. Because Christianity didn't just stand up one day and say, "Hey, it's all about me." It took a little bit. There was it ebbed and flowed for a while. Hey, Nightshade. And it took a bit for Christianity to reach the dominance that we see in the world today. It wasn't instant, and there was a lot of intermingling of the faiths during the transition. So there are a lot of pagan holidays that are celebrated on by Christians in because Ostara or Easter being celebrated at the same time as Jesus's crucifixion, because they just seem to fit together at the same time. But does that mean they really truly happened that way? I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you. But there was definitely a mingling of those different traditions. And that's part of the reason why a lot of the pagan traditions are hard to separate from a lot of the Christian traditions, just because there was so much of that commingling. And in a way, it's because there was so many different overlaps of those different traditions. It just made sense to keep them similar, or they were similar, or celebrated at the same time. So yeah, it's fascinating. If you ever have a chance to take a comparative religion class, I strongly recommend it. Not just because you'll learn more about whichever religion you do follow, but you'll learn more about so many others. And it's just fantastic. Absolutely. Let's see. So right now in contemporary literature, there is no similarity or no link between the Attis legend or the legend of Jesus Christ. And for the most part, Christians consider the Attis legends to be pagan myths. and the death and resurrection of Jesus are regarded by modern day Christians to be a description of real events, absolutely unrelated to those pagan traditions. So, a lot of the Christian holidays are based upon the different phases of the moons and what full moon number and everything. So, Easter Sunday is generally celebrated on the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the spring equinox, which is not complicated at all, right? And so according to the Roman Catholic Church and Protestant denomination calendars, that's what has been used to determine when the different Christian holidays are. So yes, Easter Sunday is the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the spring equinox. So yeah, craziness, right? And just like that, one moment, looks like we've got a caller. Oop, wrong screen. Scroll, click. Area code 208. You're on the air.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
So I wanted to call in. I was going to call in on the portal, but I ran out of time, and they were talking about, like, close calls with the truckers, which totally brought the party down, man. That was some sad stuff. Scary, sad, bad. My story's not much better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I can hardly hear you on this phone.
Sorry.
It might just be... Oh, now I can.
I leaned back because I needed a drink of coffee.
Okay, so... Wait, do you want me to just talk?
Yeah, go ahead. Talk away. Do your thing.
Okay, so hi guys, it's me. So you guys know that my grandma died a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was gonna call and tell you guys a story about it, but it was super soon. So now I'm coming out with it, and my dad sometimes watches The Portal, so I don't want to step on his toes about this. My grandma Nellie died, and she died on the 22nd, on February 22nd. And I was there for that. I held her hand, and I watched her go. It was something very different. It wasn't exactly as spiritual as I thought it would be, but it was like she was giving me a gift. Because in the type of work that I want to go into, I want to work in a hospice care and in caring. I can't remember the name of it, but that type of work.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was on the 9th, actually on the 8th. It started on the 8th of February. I had a dream. And me and Grandma Nellie were not that close, so it was kind of strange. But she was living in my mom's house, and she was living in my old room. So I was very familiar with that room. And in the dream, I kind of popped into a corner of the room, and I was like, okay, this is weird. And then I tried to get out of that room, like I tried to leave out of the door, and I came back in a different corner. So it would be kind of like in the movies where they try and leave and they can't. So I thought, this is weird. Okay, whatever the hell this is. And I tried a couple of times, and I was like, okay, this is weird. So then I woke up, and I was like, okay, that was a fucking weird dream. And then went about, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then that night, the next day, I was back in her room. And I was like, okay. And it was kind of like I was watching it. So I was in two different places. Mm-hmm. Grandma Nellie, I don't know why elders do this. They have really tall beds. Has anybody else noticed this? You hit like 70 and your bed is like 10 feet off the ground. Why? You guys, lower your beds, you know?
It's because it's easier to get in and out of. I have considered doing that for my own bed because, yeah, it's easier to get in and out of. as weird as it
I
seems.
get it if you're tall, but she wasn't very tall. And I mean, I don't know. It was a tall bed. Anyways, so I was in the corner and I was watching us, and I was sitting on her bed on the corner, and she was sitting next to me, and we were saying goodbye. And I was like, okay, because I've had dreams of people before when they were passing, and so I didn't put too much stock into it, but it was definitely a moment. I'm kind of freaking out right now because like I said, this is the first time I've told one other person about this, so you guys are my clan. This is okay. So we were saying goodbye to each other, and then I woke up and I was still very much asleep, and I started keeping the notebook by my bed, and I like rolled over and I'm looking at the notes, and it says Grandma Nellie said goodbye dream, and it said 2/9, and then it said 2/10. Now I don't know if that was 2:00 in the morning or if I was trying to write 2020. So I wrote it down, and I told somebody. I told my friend Bridget, I'm like, dude, I had this fucking dream. What am I gonna do? You know, and I didn't really put too much stock into it because I've had dreams before. And then Grandma Nellie, like a week later, on the Thursday before the 22nd. So I don't know what day that is. It was like maybe 10 days after that dream. They said, hey, Grandma Nellie's in the hospital. And this hospital frequently. So I'm like, okay, just keep me posted, you know. So then I remembered that I had the dream. And I called my friend up and I'm like, dude, oh my God, what do I do with this? Because to me, I'm like, I have this. What do I do with it? And I don't want to scare my dad and my parents and tell them, by the way, sorry to tell you, you know, I mean, what do you do with this shit? What am I, you know? So I was like, okay, well, I'll just hold on to the information and we'll see. And then my dad calls me and he's like, hey, she's not going to make it through the day. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I go and oh my God, my contact just fell out. Okay, sorry. Because that's over with. So I go and I say goodbye and I tell him that I'm there to support him. How much time do we have? Okay, I have a few more minutes. And I watched her pass on, and it was sad, of course, but she knew that I wanted to go into the line of care that I want to be in. So in a way, it's kind of like she gave me this gift of being able to be there, you know? So that happened. And I have another story. I lost my time. It's 23. It's the break at the half hour.
You've got about 2 minutes.
Okay.
If you go over, we'll pause.
Okay, so I want to get
we can pick it up after the break. No worries.
Well, let me go ahead and get your input on this side of the story, and then I'll tell the other part on the other side.
Okay. So regarding the dream and your grandma passing and all that?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of all this?
So, I think sometimes when people are passing from this world into the next one, it's not always in the blink of an eye. It's a transitory period. And sometimes our subconscious leaves to prepare the way, if you will. And so it may be that you dreamed about it because you picked up on her subconscious saying, you know what, we're kind of done and we're tired and let's see what happens. And she may be exploring it in her own dreams or in her own subconscious. And because you care about her, you picked up on it just a bit and you got to go along for the proverbial ride. And sometimes that's very, very traumatic for the person who's going along for the ride. And so it's just maybe a way, I think, this is just me, my interpretation, is that it was her subconscious is going and checking things out and preparing herself for the journey, and you were there to observe it and watch. And yeah, it is in a way, it is very much a gift, because she's saying, hey, you're coming along with me on my journey, and it's because I trust you enough to come along on my journey. And does it make things better for you? Well, no, because you got to experience something kind of horrible twice, which is no fun. So I really think it's just a transitory thing. It's just a step in the process as she's getting ready to cross from this world to the next. You got to see part of that journey. So that in itself, yes, that is a gift. But that doesn't mean it's not traumatic. So on that note, ponder that while we go to break, because we're going to do that. And when we come back, if you have another question or want me to say something else, let me know. Otherwise, we can go on to the next part. We'll see you again in a bit. I'm going to just put you on hold. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. And Julia is on hold and coming back to us. As she had dreamed about something and asked my opinion, and I gave it. And now she had another thing she wanted to talk about. Yeah? Are you there?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Did
I
that?
can hear you. Yep.
Did,
Oh my God! What the fuck was that? My cat just sneezed and scared the Jesus out of me. Oh, then.
All right.
Sorry,
so,
guys.
Did my response help at all, or answer your question, or did you?
Yeah, it helped. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I mean, it was kind of traumatic, like both ends. Having a dream. I'm used to having dreams. That's my MO thing. That's I jokingly call myself the Grim Reaper because I don't know what else this is. But having that be my first, it wasn't my only first, because into my next story, so Grandma passed away, and we're not having the service until summer. So that all happened on, like, let's see here, February 22nd. So that happened, and then March comes, and I hate March. It's weird because it's a bad month for me. And as a lot of you know, I've been doing caretaking for somebody. I can't say her name. Let's just call her Belle. I don't know. Let's call her Belle. And I'm an in-home carekeeper, so I go to her house and I take care of her for a few hours and help her around the house stuff, and then I leave. Well, Belle doesn't have the best appetite. So on Monday, I go in there, and something else happened the day before, and I don't remember what it was, but I was riding kind of an anxiety high, and I was like, okay, something else is going to happen. And I wasn't sure if that was because of what happened before or what. So I went to work on Monday, and I'm supposed to be there at 9. And I usually walk in there about 5 minutes early. And so I'm like, okay, I'll go now. So I walk in there, and I set my stuff down, and I say, hey, how was your weekend? And she goes, oh, man, I was up all night. And I'm like, really? Gosh, you know, she does that a lot. She doesn't sleep a lot. And then she goes, my left arm is numb. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. I'm like, smile for me. So she smiled, and everything was fine. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go wash my hands. It's healthcare. And as I walked in there, I'm like, here we go. And so I wash my hands, and I hear her murmur something. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound like English. And I find her kind of leaned over, and she's saying, call 911. And do you want me to call 911? She's like, yes. I'm like, okay, on it. So that was the first time I had that happen. I popped my 911 cherry as a healthcare worker. But with close calls, if I hadn't have been there 2 seconds earlier, I wouldn't have been there. You know, I would have walked in and not know what to do. I didn't know what was happening. And she was conscious the whole time. And I believe she's okay. This happened like 2 weeks ago. But Brett was talking about having really close calls, and that was a really close call. You know, and it just kind of startled me. So that happened, and then my grandma died, and it was just too much at one time. And that's what happened. The night before, I had a breakdown because stuff was going on in my life, and I couldn't handle it. Everything was shit. And so I had a breakdown, and I woke up the next day, and that was the adrenaline that I was riding. I was like, everything is still crap, but I'll be okay, you know. And then I walk in on Monday, and I have to call 911 on my client.
Yeah.
So.
Well, those close calls like that, are they sucky? Yes. Yes, they are. Are they an adrenaline rush? Yes. Yes, they are. Can you ever fully prepare for them? No. No, you can't, because those are things that just happen, and when it's our time, it's our time. And your intuition was saying, hey, there's something happening. You need to pay attention. And you did. And you did the right things. And you got her taken care of. And so, did the breakdown happen? Well, you just had someone really important to you pass away. That's not a breakdown. That's normal grieving. That's normal to kind of lose your marbles for a little bit. So don't punish yourself or think anything differently about yourself because you had a moment where you had to stop and just kind of lose your marbles. It's okay. Be normal. Embrace your normalness.
Yeah.
But as far as your person, being able to help her out and do your thing, that's important. And getting that training to know and recognize the symptoms of a potential stroke or health crisis, that's a pretty big deal. There's people all over the world have stories about how their lives were saved by just a random stranger that happened to have the right training and saw the signs at the right time and saved them.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. That part's cool. You're getting that training and you have that ability or that skill set. I understand it's stressful.
It is. And I understand. That's why I say my cherry pops, because I finished my classes and I got this. I'm almost done with everything. I got the paperwork to be certified. I just have to take the test.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that in healthcare, I'm going to have to call 911. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be different every setting I go to, though, because I worked with her for a year. And so I got to know her versus somebody coming in and I see them for half an hour, and I talked to my boss about it. And she says, if you grow cold, then you're less human. You shouldn't be growing cold. Any time that you have to do that, it's going to be hard. And if it starts to become less hard, then that's not good. You're just numbing it out, And so, I'm thankful for all these abilities and whatever path I'm supposed to be on in the healthcare field. I'm really thankful for it. And I'm thankful for the fact that I have the intuition to be able to recognize the signs of, hey, let's go left. Hey, you're supposed to be on this path. Because for so long, I just kind of sat there and I was like, okay, what do I do? And I tried to go the other way, and they're like, no. Don't go that way. That's not it. So, and I was going to call Deb. Hi, Deb. I was going to call you and ask you about this stuff or email you about this stuff. You heard my story. So, and I know she's intuitive also. So,
very much so. Yeah. Having several things or several skills like this or gifts, if you will, it's they're not equally easy or equally difficult, and it's challenging to manage them. That's why journaling is so important, and having someone to talk it out with, which you do. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
I love you.
Love you too, Jules. And, it is important to know that you have the skills and you're having the training. So if you know you need it, you've got the help, and you know that if someone needs help, you know how to offer it or get it to them. And Deb says, by the way, give her a call and you guys can talk. That's probably easier than sending her an email right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, she could probably give you a little bit more guidance than I could. Her skill set and experience is greater than mine. So,
well, I just wanted to let you know what was going on and all this stuff. And like I said, I was going to call the Brent show, but things happened and stuff. And it's been a busy day here, and it's so exciting. I personally want to say I love everybody in the chat. Happy birthday, girls. You know who you are. We got birthdays over here, too. So celebrate today. Whee! Okay.
Thanks for calling in, and just relax. Take a deep cleansing breath or 3, because you probably need 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 4.
All right. Thank you so much. I love you guys.
Love you too. We'll talk to you later, okay, my dear?
Okay, bye.
Bye. And by the way, if people don't know, Dawn's in the house.
Is there really a full moon on Easter this year?
I don't know. When's Easter?
The 4th, April 4th.
No.
No.
There's a full moon on March 28th and the full moon on April 27th. Why?
Because it'd just be funny.
Funny haha or funny weird?
Funny haha, as in like zombie Jesus. Werewolf Jesus, actually. Be werewolf Jesus. Full moon, Passover.
You're such a nut.
Be werewolf Jesus. Oh, yeah.
So, Julia, Nightshade says, instead of growing cold with events like this, instead, maybe finding the right minerals or herbs to carry with you that will help channel the emotions and help you to control them a little bit better. And that's actually a good suggestion. Yeah, so I carry tourmaline with me pretty much all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bag that I started carrying my rocks in because I started dropping rocks, and there's nothing more frustrating than being in a public restroom trying to do your thing, and all your favorite rocks fall out of your pockets, and you have to find them in the bathroom, and it's just vexing. So yes, get a little bag to put your rocks in so you don't lose them in various places, or not as much. So no, the full moon is not on Easter. Sorry.
Dang.
Yeah, no, you're disappointed. So yeah, we're talking about equinox celebrations, and how even a lot of the Christian holidays are based upon the full moons, which it sounds a little bit more pagan than Christian. But honestly, the full moons are a little bit more consistent than the Christian holidays, I guess. I don't know. Actually, they are. So, let's see. The spring equinox is also an important day in the Neo and Shinto paganism and Buddhism. Equinox is celebrated on March 20th. The Japanese also set the day aside to usher in the spring, and to them the day is marked to symbolize the celebration of new life. The Japanese also call the day Ostara. Contrary to Japanese belief, neo-pagans believe this day is a time to think of death. So both Japanese and neo-pagans use the day to pray for fertility and prosperity. The spring equinox is an important time for farmers to pray to the kami for crops and the blessings of the year ahead. So there are a couple of different things happening for a couple different traditions, and it's not just, not just the pagans, but everybody starts to celebrate spring. I mean, really, everybody. The number. So thinking back at my childhood, the number of Christian women who would have Easter egg trees in their front yards with lots of Easter bunnies. Knowing what I know now, looking back on that, it's a little internal giggle. Really, truly. So, equinox happens the same time everywhere in the world, period. Even though it's they use it in, I don't know, they just give me a time zone. They don't do that. It's frustrating. Anyways, so with the spring equinox, it's associated with the Feast of Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Festival of Trees, Lady Day, and Nowruz, the vernal equinox and rites of spring. And so astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, who, honestly, if you ever have a chance to watch him, you should, because he's fabulous. They say wants to know what's the definition of equinox. Well, it's equal day and light, or day and night, or light and night. Light and dark, for the love of little green apples. I may want more coffee. So, anyways, in 2001, he said that, or called it Manhattan Henge, when he took a photograph down 34th Street of the sunset on the day of the spring equinox. So it's inspired by Stonehenge, of course. And anyways, it was because the light hit exactly like it does at Stonehenge, or other big places like the pyramid at El Castillo in Mexico, also known as Chichen Itza. I can't talk tonight.
Chichen Itza.
Thank you. We bring Don on the show so that he can say the big words. Anyways, it's a line to create an amazing image of a snake descending down the stairways of the pyramid during the sunset on the two equinoxes. That's actually on my bucket list, to be able to see that. Yes, that means I would have to brave the bugs, the big bugs, to see that, but I would go, without a doubt, because I think it'd be cool. Stonehenge, that's my they, have started limiting the number of people that are able to be around Stonehenge for any of the big light festivals, because people are not very respectful when they are there, and they just leave a lot of trash and debris and stomp on things and are just rude. People can be so rude and not take care of the sacred spaces. You think if a bunch of pagans showed up at Stonehenge to celebrate a pagan holiday, they'd at least take care of Stonehenge, right?
Separate pagan from trendy wannabe college kids.
Yeah, I know. And it's just deep cleansing breath. Okay, so time out. Sidetrack. Scroll moment. But this is kind of more like getting on my soapbox. A public service announcement, whatever you want to call it. If you are doing a ritual and you're not at home, so maybe you're out in public, maybe you're out in the forest, maybe you're at the lake, the ocean, wherever it is you go. If you carry things with you to do your ritual, and then you perform your ritual, and you leave, if it's not an offering that makes sense to leave there for the animal's mess, and do not leave it behind. The whole mantra, pack it in, pack it out, applies to pagans as well. We are supposed to be closer to the earth, more respectful of the earth than the average individual, because we're drawing upon our traditions and our faiths that we are trying to, we honor Mother Earth, not just trying to, but we do it. But if you're littering, you're not honoring Mother Earth. Period. You're just not. So even though the whole COVID mess has been kind of derailing people, so people want to go either have their celebrations at home, which I get, or if you want to go out in public to do them, or out in the wild spaces to do your rituals, clean up after yourself. Don't be disrespectful, because if you're not going to honor the ground upon which you're doing your ceremony, why would you be doing the ceremony to begin with? Just ponder that one for a moment. So, And that actually, that whole same thought process should be carried over into the rest of your world life, not just, during ritual times, but be respectful, clean up after yourselves, guys. Yeah, just do it. Anyways, so talking about equinox celebrations, it's kind of interesting. If you Google equinox celebrations for other religions and cultures, they're all Christian. Justin's funny. Pagan in, pagan out. Yes, exactly. So equinoxes have been celebrated pretty much since mankind could stick a stone upright and carry it around and park it somewhere to mark the time. They would use circular monuments, constructed of huge stones. Germanic tribes associated it, of course, with Ostara. Mayans still gather at the pyramids in Chichen Itza. And both contemporary and ancient Saxons hold the whole day as a feast day to honor Eostre. And then, it's when it comes to celebrating the equinox, you can kind of wing it a little bit, but there is a lot of information out there on how to channel your energies into picking the right stuff. So do your research, and when you're celebrating any of the major holidays, get some books. There's a lot of books out there. Let's see, one moment. Titan says, Paisley, have you put new things on your altar? What do you want on your altar? Ooh. So, what's on my altar? My altar's pretty limited right at the moment, just because trying to move around and figure out what I'm doing. Ultimately, I would like some more figurines. Something with Hecate would be great. There's a jade tower I've been eyeballing for a while. There's a white fault line that goes through the jade tower. It looks like lightning, which is fantastic. It would go very, very well with my purple opal pyramid. Can you hand me my pyramid? Please and thank you. So those of you on YouTube world, this is my purple opal pyramid. To me, it just looks like a thunderstorm on a summer day with the purple clouds and everything. And yeah, I don't know, variety of stones, candles. I really just change up the altar periodically. I like to keep it more organic. Titan. Let's see. I would like to not have dust. I asked for a Roomba for Mother's Day. We'll see what happens. I asked for one for Christmas too, but that didn't happen. So. Okay, we're going to turn the camera off on Don because he's currently choking on a taco.
No, it's not the taco. Let's do turn on. Yeah, do that.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm dying.
I can tell. What happened?
I left my life alert in the car or something. I don't know.
Did you?
I ate a taco and I can't stop choking.
Did you snort some spicy red stuff?
No, I don't know what the hell happened.
Do you need a drink?
I need a drink, but that's not it. Anyhow.
So yeah, that's my purple opal pyramid. This was at the shop that I work at, and I had to have it as soon as I saw it. Kind of like at one point we had some tumbled stones poured into our pick a rock box, and there's a lot of serpentine, and I know there's a lot of rocks in there because it's about 3 foot by 3 foot, and the pile of rocks is about 8 to 10 inches deep, and all I could see was the serpentine. So I had to get the serpentine. So I carry that with me pretty much all the time. So, anyways, we are at the top of the hour now that Dawn's done coughing, and we will be right back after the break, and there will be some singing bowl, and yeah, and yes, Wanda, he did touch my pyramid. I've got a couple other things on the altar that Dawn does get to touch. So, oh, MCAT says he's getting you some Johnny Walker. All right, so we'll be right back after the break, guys.
Lord, within the
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Good night, Deb. I hope you feel better. Rest your eyes, my dear. And as you nod off to sleep, some singing bowl. symbol. So, for those of you who are curious, Don choked on a taco.
So he went for ice cream.
So now he's having ice cream to soothe his sore throat from all that hacking and coughing that he just did. Sure. So tonight we're talking about the equinox because, hey, it's the spring equinox. Y'all in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, I'm sorry. It's going to get colder there. That's what happens. But, you know, the seasons turn. It's amazing how fast this year's gone by. I just, cannot believe it. Just, screaming by so slowly. So, let's see. There's a couple other festivities around the world. There's Hilaria, and then in Iran there's Nowruz, which is translated as New Day. In India it's Holi, or Holi, Holi, the festival known for many colors. And drawn from Hindu mythology, Holi values the returning of light and the triumph of good over evil. Let's see, in Japan, it's Shunbun no Hi, is a time for celebrating the end of the long winter. In Japan, many visit the graves of loved ones and leave offerings of food or drink around this time, which I got to tell you, taking care of the graves of your ancestors is something many cultures do around the world, and I think it's something we don't do enough of here in the U.S. Let's see what else. In Mexico, pre-Christian traditions are revisited at equinoxes. In March, thousands gather at the Chichen Itza site. It's the Mayan site to witness the snake that appears briefly on the Kukulkan pyramid. And, you know, the folklore and the different traditions around the world change. They're always evolving and changing from one year to the next. And, but the equinox has been there to see all of them. It's amazing, actually, how much our culture has changed, our society has changed over the years, over the millennia. If you ever wonder how fast things can change, stop and think about it. 25 years ago, roughly, cell phones were in a suitcase and were highly expensive, and barely anybody had one. Nowadays, barely anybody has a landline, and almost everybody has a cell phone that fits in your pocket. And they can do everything that a computer could do 25 years ago, but that computer would have been about the size of, you know, a very small bathroom or a, you know, large janitor's closet. It's, you know, technology has changed exponentially fast. In comparison, society and culture changes slowly. But again, this is part of the reason why we journal things. When archaeologists go to, and anthropologists go to study ancient cultures, whether by digging up structures that have been left behind or trying to find debris, we'll just call it debris, left from the people behind that have passed on. They're trying to piece together the cultures and the society that happened to be around, you know, back then, you know, whether it's 100 years ago or a couple millennia ago. And if you are writing in your journals now, sure, it may seem like a little nonsense thing, but who knows? It may be your journal that survives the sands of time and leaves some sort of critical insight to future generations as to what society was like today. It would be, you know, give it us 1,000 years. Wouldn't it be interesting to know what the world's going to be like in 1,000 years and what they're going to find important, and when they look back on us and wonder, like, well, they're just weird. Or why did they do it that way? Just like, we look back and wonder why the Egyptians, built all the pyramids, or why they wrote all the glyphs instead of using some other type of handwriting. So yeah, it's yeah, you should be writing in your journals. I should be writing in my journals. We all should be doing it. Yeah, as folklore and traditions change, some things do just stay pretty much the same. Here in the spring, life is being reborn. The tree's sap is starting to run. The flowers are starting to bloom. Leaves are starting to sprout out on the trees. Hey, Flash. And in the southern hemisphere, the life is and wildlife is getting ready to hibernate or go dormant for the winter, and it's just a way of passing the time, a way of celebrating the passage of time. As the ground warms here, there's going to be herbs and medicinals that are going to start sprouting, medicinal weeds and such that you could go harvest. Wildcrafting is really a big thing. You should be doing it. If for no other reason than to get out of the house, you can be socially distanced while traipsing around in the outside. And don't be afraid to go outside and do the things. Even if it's just sitting on your front step and doing a picnic. Spend time with your kids, spend time with your family. Celebrate that we're not in the same lockdown that we were a year ago. I mean, that was kind of a big deal. Really, really, really big deal. So what are some of the things that you could be doing right now as you're getting ready for the spring and going through the equinox? Well, there's a few things. One, cleanse your space of the stuff and the heaviness that is built up over the last year. That could be fear, it could be anxiety, it could be stress, anger, resentment, could be COVID, whatever. And it's a big thing. And sometimes that energy that we've been packing around gets congealed and stuck in the corners. And so think about it. You've been, for so many, you've been stuck at home for the last year. You've been sheltering in place. You've been isolating, whatever. There's probably a lot of stuff that's kind of built up in the corner. And you just need to kind of work your way through it. So, connect to the spirit of your home. So you can open your front door, you walk in and say, hi, and then state your name, or I am so-and-so. Please help me co-create a safe and sacred space. Every home has a spirit or an energy to it. And you can tell if you are moving or something, for instance, you walk in and after everything's all packed up and ready to go to the new home and it feels echoey and empty. It's because the energy that you're taking with you and go to the new place that feels empty and boring when you walk in, and then you unpack all your stuff and it feels like home again. So it's real. So you can do a cleansing spray or burn herbs like sage or frankincense in every room. And as you walk around the house or your home, open the windows. Let the fresh air in. And if you feel that there's an energy congestion, and listen to your intuition. It just in theory, you could clap at it to break up the energy. You could ring a bell, a singing bowl, or if you are, If you have sage smoke, you can waft it into the corners to help that energy break up, or Palo Santo, or yes, white sage is fantastic. Whatever it is that you have that you're doing for incense burning. So Nowruz, which is, I mentioned that earlier, it's a Persian New Year, if you will. It's directly translates to new day. So it's the celebration of hope and possibilities that come with the spring equinox. It's celebrated in Turkey, Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan on March 21st. So this year, Nowruz not only begins a new year, but starts a new century. Oops, this is old. Well, actually, no. This is according to the Persian calendar. This is the year 1400. Which their calendar, I see Naysays talking about calendars and time and such in the chat room. Yeah, everybody's got a slightly different calendar. So Nowruz is a secular holiday, but some religions, like Zoroastrianism or members of the Baha'i, and some Muslims even, celebrate it as a holy day. So generally, a feast is called for, which honestly, it's never a bad time for a feast. Yep, reset your vibes for a new home. Vlash says in 1975, old computer based on tube technology for the mathematical calculation of firing a torpedo was 12 feet long, 7 feet wide, and 7 feet high, and inside was nearly 500 tubes. Oof. If there was a failure, they had to go through all of the tubes to find the right one to change. Can you imagine that? That would be horrible. I don't have the focus for that. I am too ADD, which is why I'm not in that kind of a career. But so with Nowruz, it's a Hafsin table, and there'd be 7 dishes, starting with the Farsi letter Sin, and basically it means dishes made with sprouts, or like lentil sprouts, wheat sprouts, barley sprouts, mung bean, that kind of thing, because sprouts are what's happening right now. And apples and garlic, Persian olives, sumac, samanu, which is a wheat germ pudding, and vinegar. There's often dyed and painted eggs, mirrors or water bowls, goldfish, coins, flowers, candles, candy, etc. Sounds like a real big party, honestly. So it's just a way of holding a feast or a celebration for fresh and prosperous energy. And if you don't want to do sprouts like lentil sprouts or some dish like that, you could do it to celebrate new beginnings with something that is your family favorite. In my family, those are very dramatic dishes, like roasted meat and potatoes. Can't go wrong with a nice roast and roasted spuds and carrots and onions. You really, truly, you can't. So you can spread the joy by painting wishes on rocks. So there's a craze here about 5 years ago where everybody was painting rocks. Don says, but it was a real thing. You paint the rocks and you write positive sayings on the backside, and then you set them outside of your home or at the park or, around community, that kind of thing, or give them to your friends. And you could do things like open your heart, smile, whatever it is that shows that you've got, some joy or some wishes that you're trying to do. Honor your inner child. So spring equinox is the time when Persephone comes out of the underground and emerges as a fertile maiden. At this time, it's when Pan comes out to dance, drink, and celebrate, and both of them love to play. Pan plays a lot. And so, embrace your inner child. Go for a ride. Get on a bike and go for a ride. For me, I'd do that and fall down just like I did when I was a kid, because you don't always remember how to ride a bike. It gets a little bit warmer, go paddle boarding. Have a bonfire with a drum circle. Weave flowers in your hair. Minnie and I like to do the daisy chain crowns. Those are fun. Have a picnic in the park. Minnie likes to just have a picnic. Pretty much anywhere that she can put a blanket.
Pretty much.
It could be in the middle of the living room, on the stairs, in front of the bathroom door. Yeah, pretty much anywhere that is inconvenient for me to try to walk. Yeah. You could do a water blessing. So water is a medium of manifestation, which is why baptisms happen. And water is easily charged with positive thoughts of love and appreciation. So a really quick ritual to do. Just hold a glass of water in your hands. Appreciate yourself, your life, your body, your mind. Say thank you to your body for supporting you. Sometimes it needs a crutch. That's okay. Thank your ancestors. Hold gratitude for future possibilities. And focus your intention on the water. And look at it and then mentally say things like health, energy, courage, joy, relaxation, or other quality that you want to seek right now. And then tap into your third eye as you focus on the water, and imagine your intuitive awareness growing stronger and stronger. And as you continue to gently tap your third eye, imagine your inner eye opening. Then drink some of the charged water and imagine that you're ingesting all of the qualities that you programmed into it. And then sip the activated water throughout the day to fortify your intention before interacting with others. So if you've got like a speech coming up or some sort of something happening, as you're getting ready, set your intention. Do this thing, this ritual to get your water bottle ready to support you, so you're not dealing with just the stuff, or to ease your stress about dealing with the stuff, because sometimes you just need that. You could do an edible divination.
Edibles, divinations, right?
Yes, edible divination. There, Don's on there now. So, take an unpeeled, hard-boiled egg in one hand and a permanent marker. Okay, so first, the white of the egg represents the maiden goddess, and the yolk represents the sun god, and their marriage is celebrated at Spring Equinox, which makes eggs a popular symbol this time of year. So, unpeeled egg in one hand with the marker. Pick 4 things you might choose to do this spring that have potential for enriching your life, like take up a hobby, write a book, try yoga, do something positive for yourself. And then draw 4 vertical lines dividing your egg into roughly 4 segments. And each of the segments, write one of the new growth options that you're considering. And when you're done decorating your egg, hold it a few moments in your hand and imagine surrounding it with spiritual light. Ask the energy of the egg to be your guide. And then sit on the ground and roll the egg. Like roll it along the floor. And wherever it stops, imagine which word is facing up. And whichever word's facing up, that's what you commit to.
Can we just skip to the part about peeling it, mixing it with a little bit of mayonnaise, mustard, making a sandwich?
Sure. I can't eat the yolk, but yeah, sure. You're such a derp. Don thinks with his stomach. Most of the time. It's either a sandwich or an ice cream bowl. Or a sandwich followed by an ice cream bowl.
That doesn't even sound...
Like you eat a sandwich and then you have ice cream.
Just
anyways.
Keep going.
So, where am I? Oh, sad day. I found a really cute article and it's not giving me the information I needed. So, where am I? What am I doing? First day of spring. So, Spring Equinox. Sorry, reading quickly. No, I'm checking the time. So, yes. Meteorologically speaking, say that 10 times real fast, the official first day of spring is March 1st, and the last day is May 31. But apparently we have to celebrate it on the equinox instead, because we use the Gregorian calendar. One of these days we should talk about the different calendars.
Sounds like a show.
Yeah, because there's the Gregorian, the Julian. What else is there?
The man.
Well, yeah. That's kind of a given. So, let's see. By the way, the full moon that's coming up is called the worm moon, because in theory, worms are going to be coming to the surface because it's warmer. I know here locally, the robins are out in force. The other day I was driving home, and the field was full of robins doing their thing. They were bouncing around, chirping and flying. And they were just, that poor farmer is not going to have any more worms in his field. Often here, crocuses are kind of trying to bloom, or have been for the last 6 weeks, because that's the time of cold it is here. And, yeah. Supposedly, when the crocuses bloom, that's when you're supposed to plant your radishes, parsnips, and spinach. Other than spinach, would you eat parsnips?
Probably.
What do they taste like?
Parsnips.
Do they taste like chicken?
Yes.
Or carrots? Or radishes?
Yeah.
Actually, you would love radish sprouts.
No, radish sprouts are different.
Radish sprouts. Let's see. You know, I love the Farmer's Almanac. That's what I'm looking at here. I know that it's been really hard for me this last week because the sun has been shining and it looks fabulous and I want to garden, but it is not yet time to garden.
No, it's not.
The frost hasn't fully come out of the ground yet.
Well, it snowed this morning.
Well, yes, there's that too. But there's some really soggy places that shouldn't be soggy because they shouldn't be. Yeah. If you are craving things because it is springtime, you could do a spring tonic with early spring plants, which are actually good for you anyways. Let's see. Well, dandelions start showing up. And a lot of the early spring plants have lots of vitamins and trace minerals that are very, very good for you. And historically, there weren't a lot of vitamins that people could take. So by this time of year, they've eaten a lot of the stuff they've had stashed and hoarded and preserved. And so they're a little short on some vitamins. So, early spring greens are really good to help stimulate the digestion, purify the blood, and repel kidney stones after a long winter of inactivity and dealing with stuff. So yeah, dandelions. The young leaves are good, either fresh or blanched. You put them in a salad. You can use them like spinach and put them in a soup. So those who have boiled dandelion greens in water often made a point of drinking the pot liquor or cooking water, which was loaded with water-soluble vitamins. So if you boiled vegetables, actually, yes, the water is very full. So if you steam vegetables and you've got that water, before you dump it out, put it in with your plants, add it to your plants, especially if there's no salt in there, because it'll help you put those nutrients in the soil. It's very, very good for you. Let's see. Dandelions can be used as a relaxing body rub, which is good for stress and anxiety. Let's see. Rhubarb is about to start coming up, and we still have rhubarb plants.
Okay.
Also called the pie plant. It's a something to aid the blood and digestive system. So it's called a spring fruit in turn of the century cookbooks from
Rhubarb?
the 18.
Interesting.
Yeah. Only eat the stalks. Don't eat the leaves because they're toxic, and that would be bad. You can actually boil rhubarb and use it like a soup. Oh, and it's break time. We'll be right back. Oh, it kind of snuck up on me.
Sisters of the shining moon, heaven, earth, and sea, I call upon you in this hour, bring magic unto me. Brothers, oh, the cauldron cries, it singeth unto me the songs of Mother Goddess and of...
Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. So tonight we're talking about the equinox and just the different ways that it's been celebrated throughout the years. And today, got a quickie list. This is from Mental Floss. So, first way to celebrate the equinox: can you rest an egg on its end? And I know it's not very pagan-y, but there is a myth that the egg can be balanced on its end only on the equinox. Supposedly, anybody, you can do it any time of the year, but some people only try it on the equinox. I don't know. So you could honor Dionysus with a bread phallus. So Dionysus is the god of fertility, wine, flowering plants, poetry, and theater. He's often associated with a phallus for fertility, and bread because of ritual meals involving the consumption of bread and wine. So to celebrate the coming spring, many modern pagans will offer up tables of wine, flowers, and phallic symbols made of food. Nothing like phallic food, right? Let's see. What else? You could... I gotta tell you, I really do like the Shinbun no Hi that the Japanese do, where they're visiting their hometowns and spending time with family and tend to their ancestral graves. I think that's really important to not lose contact or lose touch with our ancestors. I think we should honor our ancestors as much as we are honoring the deities we work with. Because they have such a vested interest in our success, in our future. So March 20th is World Storytelling Day in the Northern Hemisphere. So take a moment to share a story of your family, your childhood, or any other tale you like to tell. But yeah, it's good to share those stories. Let's see. Give your mother some love. So many Middle Eastern countries like Egypt, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Syria celebrate Mother's Day on the equinox or right around there. So instead of waiting until May, the Middle Eastern countries do it today. I said bread phallus, Justin. If you have the opportunity to visit any of the major megalithic monuments, or even the minor ones, you should. Take the opportunity to do that. You don't have to wait for a major holiday like an equinox or something like that. Just go, experience it. It's on my bucket list to see Stonehenge. You got to be really careful with Stonehenge because, a lot of people can't get in there. Well, and with COVID, there's a lot of people not able to get to a lot of those places anyways. So, find the sacred spaces in your own neck of the woods that you can go celebrate and go visit. If you really want to tell a tale, tell your kids the story about Eostra, or Ostara, who's the Saxon goddess, and how she found an injured bird and transformed it into a hare to save its life. And once he transformed, the hare, instead of having baby bunnies, laid eggs and decorated them as gifts, which is one myth. We talked about a different one last night. It's funny. We as pagans kind of accept the story that the bird was turned into a rabbit, or the rabbit brought the decorated egg as its only gift for the goddess, and that's just the story. No big deal, right? Well, in today's world, they try to just play this off as those are just signs of fertility. Now, there's so much of that whitewashing, if you will, or stripping of some of the essential bits and pieces of some of these tales and stories, because They're like, oh, well, that's too inflammatory, or oh, that's too weird, or that's too out there. I this is part of the reason why you should be journaling, so that your own viewpoints and your own tales and your own stories are available for future generations, if necessary, or read a book. Because, if we wait for a different religion to write about how we practice our own faiths and traditions, are they really going to get it right? I mean, truly, are they going to get it right? Are they going to give the right message? Generally speaking, they're going to give the message that is filtered through their own lens, and they'll miss things that are important to the belief and the practice. And we don't want those bits and pieces left out. I mean, look at the Druids. They didn't have their histories and their information written down, so it wasn't easily shared. And since it wasn't easily shared, it's been lost to the halls of time, as far as we know. Who knows? There may be a copy out there somewhere, but we don't know. So, yeah, if you want your rituals that you perform, or the way that you believe, or the traditions you have with your family to survive past you, you need to make sure they're written down so that your family members learn them, or if a non-family member wants to learn them, you have teaching tools so they can learn. And I think it's important. I would think it's really, really important to have that available. Yeah, it really is. It's important to write the things down, to do the things. Let's see, what else did I have out here? It's funny, I'm clicking through the links that I had available that I was reading from. It's a Christian page that talks about religious tolerance. Giggle, giggle, chuckle, chuckle. Let's see. If you don't have the ability to visit the graves of your ancestors or your friends that have passed on, take a moment to visit your local cemetery. Often there will be graves that have been left to weeds or to ruin because there wasn't anybody coming by to maintain the graves or to honor them. It really, truly. With Shinbun no Hi, it's a time, and also Ostara in general, it's a time to pray for fertility for those that are trying to conceive and have a child. Now's when you start and offer up your requests and your prayers and hope that you're not only having abundance in your life, but also, with, fertility in having that child. Now, Mini-Me was a bit of a surprise, but you know what? Fertility can happen at any time. Go flower gazing. Now, I know it's been, with the COVID, it's been a little harder to do some of that flower gazing or the plant gazing because a lot of those festivals and such are not happening. But if you do have the chance to go to like the Cherry Blossom Festival or something in like DC, do so because there's a certain beauty and peace that you can find when you're, out and about looking at the flowers and experiencing them. For those of you with allergies, I'm sorry. You take steps so you don't have to deal with them. But, some of those trees are just spectacular when they're in bloom. They look like just big giant fluffs on a stick, and it's It smells so good. I can't wait for the plum tree to bloom. It smells so good. Or the fir trees and pine trees to start doing their blooms. Now the pollen turns yellow and is thicker than dust. Oh my goodness. But it smells so good, so fresh around here in the spring. I can't wait for it. Often, right now, around the equinox, is a time to celebrate the divine feminine and the women in your life. So if you have the opportunity to do that, you should. Granted, I think you should celebrate the divine feminine all the time, just like the divine masculine. But if you're trying to look for a special day to celebrate the women folk in your life, now's a good time. Actually, anytime's a good time. But International Women's Day was on the 8th, which just passed, and then we've got Mother's Day and Easter coming up. And so yeah, there's a lot of feminine type holidays coming up. And yeah, honor the folks that have that feminine energy and have that influence on you. Send them a card, give them a call. It's good. It's all good. Now's a good time to purify yourself. So Hinamatsuri celebrations often include purification rituals, as the festival itself is thought to originate from the practice of using a paper doll called a hiratogara to rid oneself of impurities. And with spring being a time of new beginnings, you may see it as a good opportunity to hold some form of purification ritual. You could either make a hirogara yourself, or you can do something else, a different pagan ritual like a bath or smudging. Well, not smudging, but sage smoke or other type of herb or rosin. Not just yourself, but your home. And remember, like I mentioned the other day, it's good to do the whole cleansing of your house periodically anyways. But yeah, for spring, now's a good time to do it. The spring cleaning. Sweep up all the dirt, get it out of the house, do the smoke cleansing, and then vacuum and sweep up one more time. Because especially if you're using sage, it'll pull the icky stuff out of the air, in addition to giving an energetic cleanse to your place. Spring is often a time to start a new project. Since it is the time of new beginnings, it's a big deal. It's a good thing. So a lot of companies, especially in the Asian countries, start with this is when they're hiring for new workers, because the financial year starts in April. And so they're trying to finish up the old projects and get stuff done so they can be ready to move forward. And you can use the spring equinox to ask the gods and spirits and the deities and ancestors to bless your new endeavors and to give you strength and endurance to see all of them through. Because, yeah, sometimes we just need to. You got to ask the questions to do the things. And if you're not setting yourself up for success by cleaning and getting rid of all the debris that's built up over the last year, because I know I've got debris built up over the last year. I've been slowly trying to get it cleaned up. Oof, that's hard. But I'm trying. So just be patient. Forgive yourself for not getting it all done right now at the drop of a hat, because a lot of it, if it took time to build up, it's going to take time to get rid of. Kind of like if you scrub your floor for the first time after letting your kids do it for a couple weeks, you're like, oh, my stars. They missed a spot or two or three, and you find piles of icky, sticky dirt in the corners and under your cabinets because they missed the spots. But so yeah, do a good scrub top to bottom of your house if at all possible. I've got some cleanup projects that I desperately need to get done, and I'm hoping to do that this next week. So we'll see. I feel better finally. Last week was a little rough, and this week is a little bit better. We'll see what the days have to hold for us. So yeah, equinox holidays and celebrations happen all around the world, often with big pageantry, big pomp and color, and song and dance and activities and just all sorts of stuff. And some people celebrate quietly and just light a candle. And whatever you need or wherever you fit on the spectrum of celebration, that's what you should do. There is no exact, there really isn't. Again, that's my opinion. Somebody else might feel differently. And with the equinox, or excuse me, with the shutdowns that everybody's been dealing with, sometimes you can't do the big celebrations that you want to do, or the ones that you were able to do 2 years ago, because things changed enough that it's just not like it was. And so we have to find a new way to connect and do the things and meet with the people. Really, truly, it's just a matter of figuring it out and doing the things. Let's see. So next weekend, we'll see what happens. So next weekend, I may have a box unboxing that I want to do live. There's a company that talks about allowing people to shop for you blind. So basically, it's a celebration of not being able to see, and they select things and they ship them to you. And so I have no idea what's in this box, and I want to open it up online while we're doing the show, so you guys can watch with me, because apparently it's fabulous stuff. And the lesson that I want people to learn as I'm doing this is that sometimes we have to take the leap of faith without seeing the next step. As a pagan, it's part of the process. Or even knowing what the next step is, we have to trust in blind faith on achieving whatever that next step is. Because often it's hard to see the how. How is this going to work out? And it's, I don't know, I think it'll be interesting. It'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, actually. So we'll see. That may be this weekend. It may be the following weekend. It depends on when the mail gets here. And I promise I will not open it and peek at all. I'll do it on camera. So it'll be a live unboxing. Moving forward, I don't know. I guess I could use some ideas. What do you guys want to hear about? wildpaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. What do you guys want to hear about this year as we move forward? As, seeing, new year. What do you guys want? What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see people learning how to do readings? Do you want to see others working through shadow work? Do you have guests that you think I should have on the show? What kind of lessons should we go into? Because holy cow, we've been doing this for 2 years. So those of you that have been around that long, thank you. Oh, my stars. But yeah, what is it that you want to see? What is it that you have interested in? So yeah, send me the email. Again, that's wildpaisley@gmail.com. And we'll see what we can do. Yes, I understand more singing bowl. I'm working with Lucky to get some audio up, so during the breaks it'll be a little bit easier for y'all to hear. I think that'd be good. Because the singing bowl is awesome. And then I don't know. We'll see where the summer takes us. I am hoping that we'll be able to do a rockhound trip across to Idaho this summer with Mini-Me. I think she would very much enjoy it. I hope. Because Idaho is also known as the gem state, not just the potato state. And since it's the gem state, there's a lot of gems here. Opals and garnets and jade and sapphires and amethyst and agates and, well, silver and gold, yes, and pyrite, and there's just a lot of ands. So I think it'll be fun. And we will see. We'll see what happens there. If we do get that opportunity, we'll take the show on the road, and we will do shows from wherever we are at, because I think it'll be fun. I think it will be very, very much so. Campfire shows, maybe, we'll see. And then one of these days I'll get my book done and published. It's been sitting there waiting for me to come back to it. It's just been stuff, lots and lots of stuff. Thank you, Nightshade. Merry meet. Merry part, merry meet again. For here locally in North Idaho, in Sandpoint, we're going to do another get-together for coffee and tea on the last Sunday of the month. And I think it'll be good to kind of get back in the habit of that. So Aaron says, full history, origin story, campfire show. Okay. Yeah, well, send me emails, wildpaisley@gmail.com. And I think it'll be good. I do. I may do some pre-recorded stuff for you guys at some point. We'll see. And trying to work on the social media and the website bit, because pros and cons of everything else, all things created equal, just makes sense. And golly, I don't know. I think it'll be a good year. I think it'll be interesting. I think it's a very good foundation year. So for those of you that are working on your skills and trying to get sorted out what you want to achieve in the coming year, and for the years after that, I think it'd be important to just get your ducks in the row and find out where you want to go. Because it's a lot easier to go with the flow and not have issues if you have a plan. Because if you have a plan, it's easier to change the plan than it is to just start over completely. Really, truly. So, plans are such a good thing. Really, really good thing. Justin says, yes, all of it. Yes, keep me caffeinated. I don't know if you guys noticed last night, but I was tired. Oof. Thanks for your patience. And thanks for sticking out and hanging out with me and doing this stuff. I started the journey because I wanted to document it for myself. And I met y'all, and here you are with me, and we keep moving forward and learning things and interacting, and it's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Sorry, Dee. I just kind of wrapped it in what I was doing. So, yeah. So I hope y'all are going to enjoy what's left of your equinox, because it is just about over for those of us here in the Northern Hemisphere and on the West Coast. And I hope the coming season is good for you, and it gives you the opportunity to grow and achieve the things that you want to achieve. Remember, if you put your intention out there, it's a lot easier to achieve it. It really is. You don't always have to say it to other people. Write it down on a piece of paper and burn it in a candle. I use birthday candles a lot just because they're happy, and they come in many, many colors. They do. And they burn kind of quick because, they do. They're birthday candles. And often being ADD enough that... You're welcome, Julia. I'm ADD enough that I need a quick candle. So birthday candles are my friend. And Yeah, they really are. So, on that note, thanks for joining me this weekend. It's been fab being here, you guys. I will see you next Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So, merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening or day. Bye, all.
Lord, within the sun, as we will, so mote it be, the spell forever done.